Have you ever heard of Gibson's Discount Center? Probably not, but if you grew up in Texas, Kansas, or parts of the Midwest in the 60s and 70s, you might remember it. Gibson's was the Walmart before there was a Walmart. Big stores, everything under one roof, electronics, tools, sporting goods, clothing, jewelry, you name it, Gibson's had it. At its peak in 1978, Gibson's had 684 stores across the United States, nearly 700 stores. Today, the chain is gone. There's only one independent store left in Texas. But here's the crazy part. Gibson's could have dominated American retail. They had the model, they had the locations, they were first. And they made one catastrophic decision in 1961 that changed everything. Let's break it down. Gibson started in 1936 in Abilene, Texas. Herbert R. Gibson and his wife Belva opened Gibson's Product Company, a wholesale novelty business. For over 20 years, they sold novelty items wholesale. Nothing special, just a small Texas company. But in the late 1950s, Herbert Gibson saw an opportunity. He saw the future of retail, discounting. In 1960, Gibson opened the first Gibson's Discount Center in Abilene, Texas. The concept was simple but revolutionary for the time. Sell everything people need under one roof at discount prices. Electronics, tools, sporting goods, clothing, jewelry, toys, household items. Gibson's stores were big. You could spend an hour wandering the departments, and the prices were lower than traditional department stores. But here's the genius move. Instead of opening stores himself and taking all the risk, Herbert Gibson franchised the concept. He let other entrepreneurs open Gibson stores in their towns. They paid franchise fees. Gibson provided the brand and the business model. The franchisees took the financial risk. It worked brilliantly. By 1964, there were 138 Gibson stores, generating $190 million in revenue. By 1968, there were 434 stores, generating $1 billion in sales. By 1978, Gibson's peaked at 684 stores across the United States. Gibson's was everywhere, small towns, mid-sized cities, the discount store where working families could afford to shop. Gibson's was the template, the model that would later define discount retail in America. But someone was watching, someone who wanted in. In 1961, a man named Sam Walton approached Herbert Gibson with a request. Sam Walton wanted a Gibson's franchise. At the time, Walton was nobody special. He ran a few small Ben Franklin variety stores in Arkansas. He was interested in the discount retail model. He'd seen what Gibson was building and wanted to be a part of it. He asked Herbert Gibson for a franchise. Herbert Gibson said no. We don't know exactly why. Maybe Gibson didn't like Walton. Maybe he didn't think Arkansas was a good market. Maybe Gibson wanted to keep tighter control. Whatever the reason, he refused. So Sam Walton went home to Bentonville, Arkansas, and in 1962, 1 year after Gibson refused him, Sam Walton opened his own discount store. He called it Walmart. Let that sink in. Herbert Gibson had the chance to franchise the discount model to Sam Walton. Walmart could have been a Gibson's franchise. The Gibson's brand could have spread across America under Walton's management genius. Instead, Walmart became Walmart. Today, Walmart is worth over $600 billion. It's the largest retailer in the world. 10,500 plus stores globally. Gibson's? Gone. This was Gibson's version of Blockbuster rejecting Netflix. Borders partnering with Amazon. The decision that killed the company before they even knew it. Herbert Gibson refused the most successful retailer in American history. And Walmart didn't just succeed, Walmart crushed the discount store market that Gibson's had pioneered. So what was Gibson's actually like? If you shopped at Gibson's in the 1960s and 70s, you experienced the early version of what Walmart would perfect. Everything under one roof. You could buy a fishing rod, a dress, a television, and groceries in one trip. Every department, electronics, tools, sporting goods, clothing, jewelry, toys, automotive, household goods, Gibson's had it all. The stores were big, not massive like later Walmart supercenters, but big enough to feel overwhelming if you weren't used to it. The appeal was simple: selection and price. You could find what you needed cheaper than traditional stores. But there was a problem, and this varied by location and franchisee. Some Gibson stores weren't well organized. They could feel cluttered, not particularly well kept. The discount model sometimes meant cutting corners on store appearance and upkeep. This wasn't universal. Some franchisees ran tight, clean operations, but the franchise model meant quality control was inconsistent, and that inconsistency would become a problem. By contrast, when Sam Walton built Walmart, he obsessed over consistency. Every Walmart had to meet his standards: clean, organized, efficient. Gibson's pioneered the model, but they didn't perfect it. After peaking at 684 stores in 1978, Gibson's began a long, slow decline. The problem? The franchise model that had fueled growth was now destroying the company. Franchisees started leaving. They built successful discount stores under the Gibson's name, learned the business, and then they left to open their own chains. The biggest blow came from Pamita Incorporated. Pamita was Gibson's largest franchisee. They operated dozens of Gibson stores across the Midwest. They were a huge part of Gibson's footprint. And then Pamita discontinued the Gibson's franchise and started opening stores under their own name, Pamita. They took the model Gibson's had taught them and went independent. Other franchisees followed. The Gibson's brand was shrinking. Meanwhile, Walmart was growing explosively, and Walmart was everything Gibson should have been: consistent, organized, ruthlessly efficient, and expanding aggressively. Walmart was eating the discount retail market that Gibson's had created. Kmart was growing. Target was growing. The big corporate-owned chains were dominating. Gibson's franchise model, which had been their strength, was now their weakness. They couldn't control quality. They couldn't adapt quickly. Franchisees had their own priorities. In 1972, Herbert Gibson transferred ownership to his sons, Herbert Jr. and Gerald, but the damage was done. The company changed hands in 1984, sold to Gary Chaffin. Chaffin sold it in 1992. In 1996, Gibson's filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. By the late 1990s, Gibson's was headquartered in Dodge City, Kansas, a long way from the Texas roots. Gary Chaffin repurchased the bankrupt company in 1999, but it was too late. In November 2002, Gibson's announced it would close its 17 remaining stores. The chain was dead. From 684 stores to 17 to 0. But here's where it gets interesting. Just like Blockbuster's last store in Bend, Oregon, Gibson's didn't completely disappear. Just like Blockbuster, there is still one store operating as Gibson's Discount Center. That store is in Kerrville, Texas, which is west of Austin. The store was a franchise store and is independently owned and operated. They're not part of any corporate chain. The store has been open and running since 1968. The only remaining store is a time capsule, reminders of what Gibson's was before Walmart took over the world. If you're ever in Kerrville, Texas, stop by. See the discount store model in its original form. It's not Amazon. It's not Walmart. It's the way Americans shopped before everything got corporatized. So what killed Gibson's? Walmart? Yes, partially. Walmart dominated discount retail and crushed regional competitors. But Gibson's didn't have to die. They pioneered the model. They were first. They had 684 stores in 1978 when Walmart was still small. Here's what actually killed them: refusing Sam Walton the franchise. The 1961 decision to turn down Sam Walton was catastrophic. Gibson's could have partnered with the greatest retail mind in American history. Instead, they created their own destroyer. The franchise model weakness. Franchising fueled rapid growth, but it meant losing control, inconsistent quality, franchisees leaving to start competing chains, no unified strategy to fight Walmart, failure to evolve. Gibson's pioneered discount retail, but they didn't innovate beyond it. Walmart perfected the model with better logistics, better technology, better consistency. Gibson stayed static. Late consolidation. By the time corporate ownership tried to consolidate and compete, Walmart was already dominant. The window had closed. The lesson? Being first doesn't guarantee winning. Execution matters more than innovation, and refusing to partner with someone brilliant can create the competition that destroys you. Gibson's had the model, they had the stores, they had the market. They refused Sam Walton, and Sam Walton built the empire that should have been theirs. Gibson's went from 684 stores to essentially zero in about 25 years. For those who remember it, Gibson's represents a specific time when discount shopping was new and exciting, when big box stores were revolutionary, when you could find everything you needed in one place at prices you could afford. That model didn't die, it just got perfected by someone else. Walmart won, Target won, the corporate-owned chains won. But one Gibson store has still survived, one independent holdout keeping the name alive. Now here's my question for you. What store do you remember from your childhood that's completely gone now? Drop it in the comments. I might cover it in a future video. Subscribe to Then Versus Now for more stories about businesses that used to dominate and then disappeared, among other great videos we think you'll like. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. God bless.